Yeah, you can take it anywhere. Good morning. Okay, great.
Ready? Good morning. The time is 9:55. Today's date is June 14th of 2023. The parole committee will be called back to order. Present today on the panel, serving on the panel today, Mr. Alvin Roche, Mr. Pete Freeman. My name is Tony Marabell. I'll be acting as chair. Our remote location is Louisiana State Penitentiary. Would the staff at Louisiana State Penitentiary please introduce themselves?
Deputy Warden Ashley Olivo.
Reginald Admiral, classification.
Lieutenant Angela Butler. Jane Babel, offender records.
Katie Sargent, transition specialist.
Thank you very much. Our first case is going to be Mr. Andrew Bogan. Mr. Bogan, would you please introduce yourself and give us your DOC number?
Good morning, how y'all doing? I'm Andrew Bogan, 223713.
Mr. Bogan, let me explain our process to you. First, I'm going to read some information into the record. Then we're going to conduct a parole interview with you. At the appropriate time, we will let those persons who wish to have input speak. You have several people today here, present here at headquarters to speak on your behalf. Mr. Norris Henderson is present on Zoom. He will be speaking. He's with the First 72 Plus. Oscar Toops Jr., your cousin, is here in person and he will be speaking. Also is Mr. Randy Toops on Zoom. He's here to offer support, but he will not be speaking. At the end of that interview, we will allow you an opportunity to say whatever you'd like to say to the board, and then we'll vote. Do you understand our procedure, sir?
Yes, sir.
This is the matter of Andrew J. Bogan, DOC number 223713. His date of birth is June the 20th of 1967. He is a second-class offender. He has a parole eligibility date of October the 2nd of 2023, an adjusted good time date of April the 15th of 2069, a full term date of November 1st of 2069. He is currently serving 66 years, 1 month, and 1 day on the charges of armed robbery, attempted armed robbery, aggravated battery, attempted aggravated battery, and attempted armed robbery having been adjudicated a habitual offender. Those sentences were pronounced on September the 29th of 2004. Mr. Bogan, does all of that sound fairly accurate?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bogan, your case has been assigned to Mr. Alvin Roche. He will begin our interview process. Would you please answer any questions he might have?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Bogan.
How you doing?
Fine, how are you today?
I'm blessed by the best.
I'm good. Mr. Bogan, you're currently 56 years old, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And according to your master record, you're a second felony offender, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at your master record. Are you eligible to earn good time?
Excuse me, sir.
Are you eligible to earn good time credits?
I think I am, sir.
Why haven't you received any in 20 years of incarceration?
That's something.
Thank you.
That's something I got to check with records.
Have you completed any programs?
Yes, sir.
So tell me about the programs you completed. You don't have to grab paper, just tell me. Have you completed Living in Balance?
Yeah, last program I was graduated was BMP. All program, being man program, graduated in November 1st last year.
I'm talking about good time programs. Have you taken anger management?
I got anger such with that $100, sir.
Okay.
Anger
Okay, question. Listen to my question before you speak, okay? 100 hours pre-release has 10 modules. That's only one program. Have you taken anger management like hate or rage, or anger feeling?
No, sir.
Have you taken victim awareness?
That's it. You got big one? No, sir.
No. Okay, and Mr. Barabella just pointed out to me that according to your record in 2015, you completed anger management. Is that true?
Anger management, yes, sir. Anger management, $7,100.
And living in balance. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when you answer my question, you didn't actually remember taking those two courses.
Not the time, no, sir. It had been a while.
So, one honorable,
Yes, sir.
he's completed pre-release anger management and living in balance. But according to my master record, which was amended on April 11th, 2023, he has 0 credit.
That's because of legislation. We would have just,
It's because the legislation is Act 122.
no, crime of violence just recently be able to earn CPRP credit and actually get their days. So if he took it.
I understand. Current legislation has made it possible in the good gift time, but when he took those courses,
He was not eligible.
not eligible, and that act is not retroactive.
Correct.
Okay, so we are on the same page now. So you do have a program.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Oliver, according to my records, that's your first conviction in 1992, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Then you got out on supervision in 1996.
Yes, sir.
Then 1989, you had another conviction, is that correct?
No, sir.
In 1998, you didn't have another conviction?
Not that I recall.
Okay, 1 second. You were violated because of a technical violation. Is that correct?
It violated me. Yes,
Okay,
sir. But no charge.
okay, so that was not for another crime, but that was for a technical violation. Now, you paroled out again in 2002. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And then in 2003, you absconded. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you were AWOL for about 3 months. Where were you at the time you absconded?
I can remember, sir.
But you were arrested for absconding. Am I correct?
In 2003, yes, sir.
And you've been incarcerated ever since.
Yes, sir.
So continuously, you've been incarcerated for about 20 years. And what's the total of your incarceration? About 32 years?
Excuse me, sir, say it again.
What is the total time that you've been incarcerated?
The total time I've been incarcerated,
Yes.
I've been down 20 years.
Okay, but you were incarcerated from 92 to 96, and then again from 98 to 203. So it's about 30 years. Am I
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes,
Am I
sir.
So tell me what your job assignment at Louisiana State Penitentiary is.
Right now, I'm a dorm warden, sir,
And how long have you been a dorm warden?
for a few months.
And what was your job before that?
I was in BFP program for 90 days before I become a dorm warden.
Okay. What was your job assignment before that?
Oh, I was housed on extended lockdown for 10 months
You was in lockdown for 10 months.
before I went to program.
Okay. And why were you in lockdown?
Because the officer said he found some powder bleach, which was powder bleach. He said,
We're gonna talk about your disciplinary conduct a little bit later, okay? So, are you a trustee?
no, sir.
It's simply because of your disciplinary conduct, is that correct?
I filed for the trustee last year, but the one denied me.
Simply because of your disciplinary conduct, am I correct?
No, sir.
Why were you denied?
When I talked to him, I come to a caller up here. He said, I asked why he denied my trustee status. He said, you on the sex offense charge, huh? I said, sex offense? No, sir. I said, I'm on armed robbery. He said, what's your name? I said, Andrew Bogan. He told me to write him.
Yeah, I was wondering that because on one of your documents, it said you refused to take sex offender treatment. And I was wondering why you had to take it because you were in for armed robbery. Is that
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes, I'm on armed robbery, sir.
Okay. I want to let you know that you were revoked in 1990. You were revoked in 1998. You were revoked in 2002. And again, you were revoked in 2004. So tell me why you've been given chance after chance after chance on supervision and you've been revoked almost every time.
You said I provoked in 2004?
That's what my record says. September 29th, 2004, your term of good time supervision was revoked due to your current felony conviction. That was in September 2009, 2004, I'm sorry. Now, you were probably arrested before that, but the actual revocation occurred in 2004.
Okay.
So why have you done poorly on supervision?
So the last two times they had violated me on that charge I was on in 92, I was never have no new charge, pay him a urinalysis, going to see him every month. I was good with all that. It's that this kept violating me and sending me back when I was updated on everything.
I want to inform you that you do have opposition in this case. You have opposition from the district attorney's office and the 16th JDC, the district attorney's office, and the 32nd JDC. The sheriff's office, St. Mary Parish, is also opposed. You have an extensive criminal history. You have 28 different arrests, including 9 or 10 of those arrests were of a violent nature. So what was the reason or what led up to all the violence in your arrest?
So at that time, I was young, wild, messing with drugs and alcohol. I have got older now. I have learned. After 20 years, I got my mind right. Got myself together.
Your first arrest was in 1985, aggravated battery. And it goes all the way until you were arrested in 2003 for the armed robbery, first degree murder, aggravated battery with a dangerous weapon, and aggravated burglary. All of those about. So from 1985 to 2003, you have 28 different arrests, and 9 or 10 of those are violent. So what did you get out of anger management? What did you learn about yourself?
I learned about this, sir. I say again, I was young, unexperienced with life. After I served 20 years of incarceration, I have gotten older and got wiser, and my health really went down. And I said, it ain't worth me doing the same stuff I was doing back then. I've learned now.
And when did you take anger management? I think it was in 2015. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So I want to get to your disciplinary record. You do have a low risk assessment. It tells us that you have a low chance of reoffending. But I'm sort of concerned, Mr. Bogan, about your disciplinary record. And I want to get in the 20 years that you've been incarcerated, you have over 110 disciplinary write-ups. That's almost 5.5 write-ups per year of incarceration. You said you were young when you committed the crimes and you were wild, you were on drugs, but you had a contraband write-up only 15 months ago. You were 55 years old and you had written up for contraband on March 11, 2022, only 15 months ago. October 11, 2021, contraband. May 21, defiance, aggravated disobedience. November 19, contraband again. And you went to the working cell block on 2 or 3 of those occasions. You were not a young man. Hopefully you weren't on drugs, but your disciplinary conduct is unacceptable. Tell me why so many write-ups in the last 2 or 3 years.
The last 2 write-ups I got, that was not what they said it was. It was never my possession, that was never mine, sir. And I told the one who bought it 2 weeks ago when I seen it.
Did you go to disciplinary court?
Yes, sir.
And what was the verdict?
They sentenced me to a working cell block.
So it must have been serious. And you were found guilty.
They found me guilty.
So basically, Mr. Bowen and Mr. Bogan, that conduct is not acceptable this close to a hearing. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Class B write-ups, and you also have a Class A write-up in 2021. And number 24. Number 24, you were in an unauthorized area. You have an extensive criminal background. You have 28 arrests. You're a second or third offender. You have a very poor supervision history. I don't think you're ready, Mr. Bogan. I think you need some additional programs. I think you need to stay right up free at least 2 or 3 years. And I think you need to talk with a warden, get involved in programs, get involved in community service, get involved in organizational activities, and maybe next time it may be different. Warden Oliver, would you like to add anything?
I would not like to, but Ms. Butler would like to speak.
We couldn't hear you, Warden.
I would not like to, but Ms. Butler would like to speak.
Okay, Ms. Butler? Yeah.
Yes, sir. I am the Lieutenant Supervisor over the Behavior Management Program, BMP, as he was speaking of.
Yeah.
Offender Bogan came to me in August of 22. Very disgruntled and beat up by the system is how he felt. I personally worked a lot with Mr. Bogan, the mentors. He completed the program successfully. That's 90 days of RDAP. Did you take Thinking for a Change? And Thinking for a Change, to Puku, the 90 days they live in Wolf One, they do programming every day. Bogan did very well. Every day he graduated on November 1st. There's not a day that I'm at work that Offender Bogan does not come and check in with me, holding himself accountable, and I hold him accountable. As a matter of fact, this morning, he didn't show up to church this morning. So when church was over, I was ready to come find him. And then I realized he was here and I was asked to come speak on his behalf. Offender Bogan lives in Bear One, which is the medical handicap dorm, where he assists those guys as well as far as community service. He also gives back to the program. He works with those guys. He mentors to the guys in Wolf One, tries to help them. It was a voluntary program, and through screening, he was chosen to come. And if you look at his conduct record, you will see, his last write-up was March of 22, and he has definitely made a change in his conduct since program.
We really appreciate that. And I'm looking at it right now. There's a financial piece
Yes, sir.
completed in November 22. Thank you for a change. December 22, 100 hours pre-release. January 16, living in balance. June 15, Church of Christ. November 18, anger management in 15. Reviewing mind seminar. I see all of it on this most recent annual assessment,
Yes, sir.
and we appreciate your comments.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Question?
Okay, I have a few questions, Mr. Bogan. What was the contraband that you were alleged to have?
My last write-up, in March of 21, 22, for the phone, a cell phone. Yes, sir.
And the contraband right up before that, what was it?
They said Parole Beach become cocaine
Audibly, what you was doing with powder bleach?
out of dome oil in 19 and Megadorm. He could afford the dome oil. GI did give us a small bag of powder beef for the pistols. Whatever left me on work by the spill up our clothes. A Vic Sab jump, the powder bleach.
All right. And you say, they just revoked me. They just sent me back. Well, in 1990, you were revoked because you got a DWI, correct?
1990?
Yep.
I must have been on probation in 90.
But you were revoked, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then you got revoked in 1998 because you had misdemeanor convictions. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then in 2002, you tested positive for cocaine and marijuana. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And the last time you were revoked due to your new felony conviction. So they wasn't just sending you back, you were sending yourself back. Correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. Now we hear from Mr. Norris Henderson.
Good morning. I've been knowing Andrew for a long time. I've been listening really intently what Mr. Roche was And I was kind of like just jotting down all, trying to keep up with all the dates and stuff like that. But the date that really stuck out to me more than anything was, it's 2023 right now. And his full term date is 2069. That's 46 years away. He's 56 years old now. And I'm not a genius, but I think that's 102 years he would be before he's eligible for release. This is the parole board, not the pardon board. So the parole board is really based upon what have you done for me lately. And in this case, it's kind of like challenging what Mr. Bogan has done. But I think this is also maybe the appropriate case for mercy more than anything else. He has struggled pretty much his whole life. And I think listening at Warden Butler about kind of like turnaround, is that point sometimes in folks' incarceration when you realize that I got to get my act together. Sometimes it happened on the front end. Sometimes it happened towards the latter end. And I'm listening to Mr. Freeman. It's like, hey, bro, you ain't had 1,000 changes. And when he said that, I thought about in civil cases where there's contributory negligence, and really he has been kind of like contributory negligent in his own behalf. He's been kind of like putting his foot in the way and tripping himself up. I am here because I want to help him and support him in the event that he gets an opportunity to re-enter. One of the things that I listened at intently was that he never got any help after all these intervals of getting out, coming right back in, getting out, come back in, and not fully understanding the kind of like ramifications of his actions. Because in every instance, it seemed like it just became, you get out, I'm gonna slap you on the wrist, you come back, I'm gonna slap you on the wrist again. But I think when Mr. Rocha asked him, tell me the extent of your incarceration, the first thing he went to was that 20 years. Man, I've been in jail 20 years, but technically on this same 66-year sentence, you've been in jail almost half of it. But you've been paying in installments. And so I think he's kind of like at a point now where he realized, I just don't have it in me to make another installment payment. This is it. If I don't get an opportunity, or if I get an opportunity, this is it for me. I would never see the inside of a prison to be an offender inside the system. The behavior management program, I know I've attended their graduation. And this is what brings me here. Like I tell them all, if you do something to demonstrate to me that you're willing to help yourself, I'm willing to put everything we got on the line to help you. And so that's why I'm here today. And I would ask the board that consider, he's not a young man. I mean, he's made some mistakes as an elder, but we all do, and I think the fact that, he's 56 years old, 46 years is a long time. And I don't think, he would be around 46 years from now, trying to complete this sentence. And so I would ask the board just to consider giving him mercy. And, every time I come for parole hearings about what the person has done to earn release. And in this case, I think it's a combination of both. He needs some mercy today, more than anything else. And programmatic wise, if some of the restriction on him is to engage himself in all of these other programmatic things that he needs to be involved in. And I look at his active parole release date is until October, and to kind of like put something in front of him, go and earn it. I was listening earlier where y'all sent somebody to Steve Hurl and told the guy, it's on you now. Go and do these things. If you make it happen, good. If you don't, it ain't our fault. And I think to kind of like put some of the restriction on him. He's not so, his date ain't until October, which is 5 months away, and kind of like put something in front of him to say, go and achieve this. If you get it, you're good. If you don't get it, don't blame me, blame yourself. And so it goes back to giving him an opportunity to step up and demonstrate to the three of y'all that I'm worthy of this chance y'all willing to take with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson. Mr. Oscar Toops Jr.
Yes.
Sir, you're welcome to the. Mr. Toops, if you'll introduce yourself and tell us what you'd like us to know about your cousin.
Okay. My name is Oscar Toops Jr. Andrew Rue's first cousin. Basically was raised up together. And just like he's in front of the parole board today, I went in front of the parole board in 2000. Been out since, the problems, no write-ups, you know, at the time you can check and see, but thing about it is, I know the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I know the things that he done growing up, things that he did in his life. I can say this, that the problems that he had was due to drugs and alcohol. It wasn't that he was a bad person and all that. Every time that he got in trouble, it was so of that. And the last couple of years, like I've been with him throughout his life, you know, incarcerations and trying to trying to get him on the right path, get his mind in the right direction. And I noticed in the last couple of years, changes that he made, you know, the way he's taught, you know, his demeanor, you know, from knowing that on a personal level, you can understand these things, you can distinguish between those things. And I just feel that given the chance, I think that, you know, even with the remorse, I'm probably one of the hardest persons that he didn't have to deal with, because I try to hold him accountable for everything. And so anyway, from where he's been to where he is now, I think he's come a very long way. I think that he's in the right direction. I think that he's a candidate to come out and do the right things. And not only that is, you know, I know that his health has declined. He'd probably be the last to truly admit and his health is, but from his brothers and everything, and the tools that they got from doctors and stuff, we know where he is with that. And not only that, job that he has that dealing with, you know, people that's, you know, in the medical wards and everything there, he would be a great help to his mom, because right now his mom is, which is my aunt, she's confined to a wheelchair, she's bedridden, and she has dementia. So with that being said, I think that would be a driving force for him that he would do much better in that regard. And I just came here today and supported him, and I had a bunch of my uncles and stuff that would like to be here today, but they weren't able. I told them that I would speak for him, and I just think that he make a very good candidate. I think that, you know, in light of everything that's going on with the write-ups and all of that, I think that he knows now that those things can affect whatever his outcome may be. And yeah, you know, I look at him, he's 56 years old, and 20 years, you know, it's time, you know, I think a man can change. I know if I could change, I know that he could change. And I just think that we should at least be given a chance to prove that. And like the gentleman just spoke, 5 months, you know, for his actual parole date, eligibility date. I think that, you know, those 5 months, that's you know, that could be part of the evaluation. I just come today to ask that y'all see please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Appreciate your comments. Mr. Bogan, also here at headquarters is your cousin, Miss Margaret Bilbo, who is here present supporting you, as well as your cousin, Mr. LeVar Henderson, is here as well. Neither of them wishes to speak, but they're here today to show their support for you. Mr. Bogan, is there anything you'd like to say to the board before the board votes?
No, sir.
Is the board ready to vote?
Yes,
Mr. Roche?
Mr. Bogan, I've heard everybody that spoke this morning. but I also had the facts in front of me. And Mr. Freeman had re-emphasized the facts. And based upon a general disciplinary conduct that's unacceptable, I'd like to see 2 or 3 years with no write-ups, an extensive criminal history, a poor supervision history, express opposition to the DA's office and law enforcement. I deny your request.
Mr. Freeman? Okay, Mr. Bogan, you definitely hit it in the right direction. You definitely are doing well now, as the warden said. But I hope it's because you got your head on straight and not because you knew you had a parole date coming. I, like Mr. Roche, would like to see at least another year without a write-up, then reapply. And I think things will be different as long as you keep on the same path you are right now. But today, my vote is to deny.
Thank you. Mr. Bogan, you have 2 votes to deny. Mr. Bogan, I've listened very intently. I'm kind of the same mind as Mr. Roche and Mr. Freeman. But when I heard the warden talk about what you're doing and how you're doing it, I think you've turned that corner. I really do. My vote today would be to grant your parole, but I'm only 1 vote. So you do have 2 votes to deny, with encouragement from both of my colleagues. So we all think you're heading in the right direction. So keep up the good work, and perhaps the next time you'll get enough votes to get out. So, but today your parole has been denied. So good luck to you.
Thank you.
Good work, Drew.
You know, it's sad. There's nothing about this case. It's like it's it's like he spent so much of his life locked up. I don't have any records to go over, or really much to share. You know, he has a story about, what was it, detergent or, I don't, you know, Mr. Henderson on the bottom. So he's got like a business kind of like the Parole Project, and he's always hoping he gets these clients and hoping they get out, and then they, you know, subsidize. Then he gets paid. That's how he makes money. I don't know that for sure. It's just my assumption that that's how it works. But I'm not a fan of his style of. He seems to have a very low success rate too. I haven't looked over the actual numbers, but I just don't. I can't recall cases where his clients actually get paroled or commuted. He doesn't seem to have a very high success rate. I don't know if it's why it is. I don't think it makes a difference what he says. Anyways, it's not like I'm blaming him for his representation, but I'm not really a fan of it. I feel kind of like he's kind of like preaching to the board a lot, and the board doesn't really want to be preached to. It's, you know, gosh, it's just like he's getting up there in age, and it's just spent so much time locked up, and it's you wonder, is he going to get out? And, you know, do they believe that he's a danger to society? Do they believe that he'll just reoffend? Like, is it punishment over, what is it about? I don't. But they feel the need to keep him locked up. And it wasn't an impressive interview at all. And he has a long rap sheet. And then there was a thing about some of his offenses, which I just couldn't get clarity if he'd actually done it or not. The child stuff. I don't know. I'm sorry, but this unpacking is pretty useless. It is what it is. We cover all different types of hearings here, and this is what it is. But with that, I'll let you go.